All right, it is live. Absolutely. Yeah. We we lurk and lurk. Yep, sure can. I can definitely tell. Oh Lord. Oh Lord, that's way more than I needed to know. I didn't know it was waterproof. How does he keep water off of it? I use it to Yes, sir. Yes, we are.
Their games have been selling well. So I got some of the numbers here. So currently, and this is just for the people to understand, like the clarification on this, because I know how quickly things can get out of Forte. They say I'm muted.
No, it was for some reason it wasn't picking up the Discord chat, but I got it now. It's picking
All
it
right.
up now.
This guy goes back to my tweet. Did you see my tweet?
What did you tweet?
What did I tweet? Let's see here. I tweeted. I'm gonna go find it real quick. Come join us at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another episode of DPS Podcast, where Forte won't be hosting the start, so at least the mics will work.
Gosh.
And then once you're hosting, guess what didn't work? The mics.
Well, my mic worked, but Discord audio for some reason wasn't picking
Also,
up.
Erodimus says you're very low, so you might want to check your levels.
Yeah, turn up a little bit.
So let me recap everything I was saying because apparently nobody heard me. Microsoft first party games, Xbox first party games selling on PlayStation. And to clarify, that's what we're talking about here are not just the 4 games that they launched on PlayStation or will have all launched on PlayStation by the middle of this year, which is Sea of Thieves, Grounded, Hi-Fi Rush, and Pentiment. The live service games definitely are more popular on PlayStation than the single player ones. But this is also talking about the publishers that they now own, and those are now their games. They're now first party games. And to clarify, this is just for today. This is just for April 18th. This isn't for, this isn't like a current thing that's going on. This is just something that people had noticed today and something that was happening today. And a lot of factors are factoring into this, like the Fallout TV show is also factoring in the resurgence of Fallout sales skyrocketing, basically. But Microsoft has more bestsellers on the PlayStation Store right now than Sony does. PlayStation Store rankings change on a daily basis. Again, I'm saying this to repeat all this so that people understand. Their rankings change on a daily basis, and the info that has been provided reflects the current standing. And so the bestsellers list includes free-to-play games like Fortnite, and even updates on games like you'll see with like Overwatch 1.5. I ain't calling it Overwatch 2. Don't deserve that. Anywho, as of April 18th, Microsoft had 7 out of the top 25 best-selling games on PlayStation Store. This includes 2 Fallout games, Fallout 4 at number 16 and Fallout 76 at number 20, Call of Duty at number 2, Overwatch 1.5 at number 7, Minecraft at 19, and 2 separate games that recently broke exclusivity, Sea of Thieves at number 12 and Grounded at number 13. Sony, on the other hand, has 5 games on the best-selling list, 2 of which are not technically first party and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment, which is Helldivers 2 and Stellar Blade by Shift Up. Forte, what are your thoughts on this?
What are my thoughts on this? It's not interesting. It's exactly what Xbox wanted. Xbox, they're leveraging the titles that they have, and we're basically telling people that we're not selling them on Xbox. Guess we're going to sell them on PlayStation. And we all knew this was kind of going to happen when you saw pre-order numbers for Sea of Thieves being like number 1 on PlayStation, like right when they announced that it was coming over there, showing that there was actually some type of, like, people was really wanted to play that game. And it's not like people haven't been able to play that game for the last 7 years. I think it came out in 2016 or 2017 is when Sea of Thieves came out, I believe.
2018, I believe, is when it came out. So I vividly remember that year because that and State of Decay 2 were the only games that Xbox released. And I was just like, are you effing kidding me right now?
He said, that's all you got. That's all we got. That's all we're giving. But no, I'm not surprised. I think if you look at the numbers themselves, like you see, Call of Duty is number 2 on that list as a paid game. Xbox owns Activision now, so they could count that. Overwatch. The funny thing about Overwatch is all based on, this is like, people may look at this, it's not just based on sales, it's based on like money spent in the game too. That's why you see something like Fortnite at the top being a free-to-play game, because more people are spending more money in Fortnite than anything else. So that's where they're making all their money. So Call of Duty being a $70 title on top of people spending money on battle passes and skins and everything like that is what keeps it up there. Overwatch is real interesting because I swear nobody plays Overwatch anymore, but this chart basically tells me that they do. Because Overwatch is number 7 as a free-to-play game. So people are playing Overwatch at a very extreme clip.
I don't get it, but all right.
I don't get it, but hey, to each his own. Sea of Thieves at number 12, $39.99. So there are more people playing Sea of Thieves probably right now on PlayStation than there are on Xbox. Fallout, I love to see this. Now, the one thing about Fallout 4, you can't buy microtransactions in that game. This game was $4.99. It is beating games like Dragon's Dogma that came out not even 2.5 weeks ago.
But let's tackle that for a moment, because that's really about the amazing Fallout TV show.
That's
which
what I'm
is
saying. Yes.
Fantastic. So that TV show, we have seen this trend, and I think any publisher or developer that has a popular IP should be doing this, taking a popular IP, even if you don't have another game in the pipeline that's close to launching or whatever, taking that game, finding a good emphasis on good, okay? Good streaming service, a studio, or like movie studio making people,
right,
to adapt that to different forms of media. Because when it's quality, people who aren't familiar with the series will check it out and say, you know what, I want more of this. And I'm not getting a second season anytime soon.
Right.
Oh yeah, wasn't this a video game? Let me buy that. And especially when you're doing things like I mentioned earlier with Fanatical. Fanatical is a website that sells like Green Man Gaming and CD keys and stuff like that. They sell PC games with discounts. They had a huge bundle for Fallout 1, 2, and 3, Fallout 4, Fallout 76, and Fallout New Vegas. 6 games, $20.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even a Fallout fan. I bought it. Why the heck not? Right. It's just, this is 20. This is a dub. I just threw a dub on it. And of course, you mentioned Fallout 4 is just what, $4 or something like that on PSN right now? How much did you say it was? It was less than $10, right?
Fallout 76 is $7.99. Fallout 4 is $4.99.
Exactly. So that just kind of like, you throw in the fact that here's a great TV show, and then the entry price to playing the game to get more of the content that you enjoyed on the TV show in a different form of media is cheaper than going to McDonald's. Then yeah, people are going to go do that. And so I think that plays a huge part into it. And I also would like to reiterate, doing this with good streaming services like Netflix, like Prime Video by Amazon, like Max, HBO, you know, they have a history of quality content. Mm-hmm. Unlike something like, I don't know, Paramount that's about to be sold to Sony. You know, unlike Paramount, where they choose to take your IP and stink up the whole joint. And when it launches 2 seasons, your current game that's a live service game doesn't barely get any uptick in concurrent users or sales. If anything, if it got any kind of uptick, it was like a mosquito bite of an uptick on the chart. Okay, it's barely there. It's just, you see it a little bit. It's a little bit there, but then it's gone. That's what happens when you go the gutter route. I don't know what's going to happen with the Halo TV show. Maybe it'll be on Tubi for season 3 or something, considering Paramount's about to get sold to Sony. But choose good services, okay? That's all I got. Choose good services. Anywho, back to what we're talking about. Forte.
Yo.
Does this sales performance on the PlayStation Store indicate to you that we might be seeing more Xbox games on PlayStation real soon?
I didn't need these sales charts to know that the fact that Microsoft wouldn't answer simple questions like would ever come in, not right now, and we're not talking about any games but these 4 games. The fact that none of that stuff was answered or talked about lets me know that this was going to be a direction that was going to happen, especially if it worked. Like the biggest thing that Phil Spencer said in that interview, where they said we're with I think it was with Tom Warren, and he said, we're only talking about these 4. We want to see how these 4 do. I mean, you can see how these 4 are doing. 2 of them are in the top 25. And I don't think they and what's that hasn't come out over there yet, has it? Hi-Fi Rush hasn't came out.
No, Hi-Fi Rush came out.
Oh, it did. Yeah, you're right. It did. Yeah, you did.
The only one that's not out, I believe, is Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves comes out very soon, actually.
Yeah, and that's number 12 on the list. It is not even out yet.
Yo, that game, well, look, I played it when there was nothing to do but kick chickens and
look at the water.
And look at the water. So, like, I don't have a very current mindset of what Sea of Thieves is like. So I'm not going to speak on it in 2024 as it is the game that it was in 2018. I can't stand when people do that because they play a game at launch. And it's completely different now than it was then. And they will forever have the mindset that it's trash like it was at launch. I'm like, that's just not the reality of it. You just don't speak on the game if you don't know it currently. So I'm not going to speak on the current quality of the game, but it's very popular on PC. And I think it'll be not equally as popular on PlayStation, but I think it's going to have numbers. I think it's going to do numbers on PlayStation. The release date for Sea of Thieves on PlayStation is come on, what is up with Google? April 30th. There we go. So at the end of the month, it'll be showing up on PlayStation. All the other ones have already come out. Forte, what is the next Xbox game to be announced to go to PlayStation?
The next Xbox game that's coming to PlayStation?
That
they haven't talked about yet?
Yeah, this is a hypothetical. This is a guess. So this is just your theory.
Hypothetical.
Yeah.
That's not been talked about yet. Gears.
Wow, I'm thinking the same thing.
Gears. Because I think it's
the Gears collection. Why not introduce a whole new player base to the Gears trilogy? Yeah. Starting from the very beginning with Marcus Phoenix in jail. Do that, with Dom breaking them out. Do that from the Epic games that Cliffy B worked on. Do those 3 games. Then do 4 and 5, and by the time you're done with all that, maybe Gear 6 is coming out. You can do a multi-platform launch. I don't know. Let me stop messing with people. People gonna be upset.
They're so upset, bro.
I may have triggered a few people just by saying that, but no, I do think Gears might be next. Because
I wouldn't have a problem with that either. I think the thing about Gears, especially what we all saw what happened with Gears when it came to even PC with cross-platform play, nobody was playing it. So it was like really hard to find games across PC and Xbox. If you put it on PlayStation, that brings a whole nother ecosystem into the game. It's going to reinvigorate, people that's on PC is going to want to play because it's going to probably have higher end textures and everything. Games are going to probably run and perform a little bit better because none of those games were available that way before. Xbox gamers are going to jump back in there because it's going to be a Game Pass. So, why not jump in there and play it? I think it's a really good.
People in the chat saying Redfall. Look,
listen. If I was PlayStation, I'd be like, you keep that.
I think everybody wants them to keep that. After Arcane Austin fulfills all of their contractual obligations to the consumer for what the content they said they would do, I think they're going to drop that game like a bad habit, bury it on the oldest, dustiest server they can, and pretend like it never existed.
Yeah.
That's my... Now, okay, let's do it like this, right? So we both say Gears.
Yep, Gears.
I think the next... I'm not going to say... This would cause too many problems.
No, this damage per second podcast. Let's go.
Oh, it's about to be a lot of damage. Okay, so let's say a game per publisher that's under their hat. They got Xbox Game Studios, they got ABK, and they got Cinemax Media.
Yeah.
Now ABK, everything they got is for the streets anyway. All that stuff is multi-platform, so it don't even matter. Just name a game they got coming out. It's going to be on PlayStation, right? All that stuff is out. It's for the streets. For Xbox Game Studios, we both said Gears.
Yes, Gears.
For Cinemax Media.
Oh man, here we go.
Look, man, look. I gotta think Starfield.
Man, we already know that's going. I thought you was gonna say something like Fallout when it comes out.
Well, Fallout not coming out for like who was even working on Ty Howard is working on
That's the question.
Yeah, they're not. He's working on Elder Scrolls 6 right now, and that might be his last game. So whoever works on Fallout has got to either be Obsidian or In Exile, because they kind of come from that Interplay family tree anyway. And Obsidian has already worked on Fallout before with New Vegas. A lot of people want a New Vegas 2 or at least a remake of the previous one. So like the next Fallout that comes out, in my eyes, won't be made by Bethesda Game Studios. It'll be made by someone else or outsourced to like a remake outsourced to someone by Xbox Publishing, but it won't be by Bethesda Game Studios. That said, yeah, I'm going to have to say Starfield, man.
Yeah,
Gears and Starfield. We about to have some triggered people in these comments. I swear. But look, it's if you look at the 4 games they put out single player games like Hi-Fi Rush and Pentiment. Single player content. Like for the people who kind of feel like, yeah, like I understand them wanting to put multiplayer games over there because you need a bigger pool of players to kind of keep multiplayer games going so that people have people to play with. When the player base drops below a certain level, the game's pretty much dead because you don't have enough people playing the game. I get that, right? I get it. True Bleak, that's a good suggestion there. I'll mention that in a second. But they didn't just do that. If you talk about Grounded and you talk about if it was only Grounded and Sea of Thieves, I could see that. I could understand that. Just those 2 games, you know, it's more along the lines of what Sony's doing right now with Day and Date on PC. Right now, for Day and Date, it's just a live service game because they want to try to take advantage of the huge pool of players on PC.
Right.
But they put Hi-Fi Rush on there, which only came out a year ago. And they put Pentiment on there, another single player game that came out like just 2 months before Hi-Fi Rush. So it's not just multiplayer content, it's single player content.
True.
And if that's the case, like you can say, like, look, when Phil Spencer was asked directly by Tom Warren, is Starfield never coming to PlayStation? And Phil was like, well,
we're only talking about these 4 games.
I mean, you can never say never. You know, I mean, you know, we never know what might happen. You should have known then it was a wrap. It was a wrap on that. So this is just like to as I said, I was going to say Truebly in the chat says Killer Instinct, and so they apparently Killer Instinct is getting an update or something coming soon. And that wouldn't surprise me. PlayStation's demographic of players install base, a lot of fighting game people over there. A lot of fighting games come out on PlayStation, just skip Xbox. So like Guilty Gear games, stuff like that. So like, yeah, that's a look. Go ahead, implement crossplay. Let the Xbox guys go, squad up, go up against the PlayStation guys. Have a little competition going. But more than anything, you got Sony runs Evo now. I believe. I think they own it. And so I'm not a big fighting game guy, so I don't know nothing about that. But like, I do know that PlayStation is where if you're a console gamer and you're a fighting game fan, you should probably own a PlayStation. you just should, because that's where the majority of the fighting games come out on. Putting Killer Instinct over there makes a lot of sense. Is there any chance, Forte, that the lack of sales with Hi-Fi Rush and Pentiment means that there will be no more single-player games going to PlayStation? That only the multiplayer ones that seem to be getting the most attention are going?
There is a possibility. Pentiment, because when is that coming? Do we know yet?
Pentiment is already out on PlayStation.
It's already out. That's why I thought it was already out on there, which isn't on this list, by the way.
Yes, because Pentiment didn't sell on Xbox or PlayStation or PC or Switch or anything.
No,
Josh Sawyer, don't block me for saying that, but like he's kind of block heavy. But I think it's a quality game. But we have to recognize the kind of game it is. It's a very much a kind of a point and click kind of RPG, kind of in the vein of Disco Elysium, but a little different. It's not a very popular game design, and the art style, even though it makes sense in context of the story, because that is how artists drew in that time period. So that's why the art style looks that way.
Right.
But most people not going to stick around to find out that information. They just like, looks like my kids drew this.
Right.
The freak is this crap. I'm out. And so I already knew that wasn't going to sell. That wasn't going to be popular.
Well, to answer your question directly, I do think, because like outside of Fallout and Minecraft, everything else is multiplayer. I do think multiplayer games are going to do the best when it comes to this, because right now we're more in a multiplayer centric gaming sphere than we are a single player one. Single player games, I do think, and that might also be the strategy on why Microsoft picked these games in the first place. Well, except for Pentiment. Well, no, actually, that goes out the window completely, because even what's name is not it's a single player game too. Maybe that's why they did 2 and 2. Like when they did the 4, they did 2 of one and 2 of the other one to see how they actually do.
So you think they may pivot now that they got data on those 4 games? They say, okay, we did 2 single player games, 2 multiplayer games. The multiplayer games did way better than the single player games. We're just going to do our multiplayer games from there, which is still Gears.
Yeah, which is still
Gears. Which is in Starfield, though.
I think all of those games are. I don't think it's going to change the plan of the release cadence. Well, not the release cadence, but the release of those games. I do think they are going to release single player games on PlayStation, but I think they'll prioritize the multiplayer ones, because that's the one thing that is still kind of lacking on the PlayStation platform, especially when you talk about from a first party standpoint. Yes, they have Helldivers, which is a win for them 100%. But outside of Helldivers from first party, they don't really have anything that of note that really is sustainable. They have like a lot of one-offs. Even if you think about like games like not Last of Us, but like Ghost of Tsushima, the multiplayer for that is amazing, but a lot of people aren't talking about it like that. So it's kind of like one of those things that like goes without being said. So I can see a place where a game like Gears would definitely pick up. I remember talking about Halo is the one thing they should always keep on their platform. I think that's the single player portion of it. I think Halo multiplayer should be everywhere. I think it's free to play. You should let Halo multiplayer be on the PlayStation and let everybody have access to that. As long as you keep my whole thing, because this is the thing about Halo. I got into Halo. I bought an Xbox to play Halo single player. Everybody did. Nobody even knew multiplayer was a thing in that game until they got a chance to play it. And then they did the whole system leak and everything like that. I think the majority of the player base are single player people that like play Destiny, that like Halo. Multiplayer is what sustains the game past that. So I think the best thing for Halo is to have the multiplayer available as many places as possible. And I think the single player is the thing that you should keep in-house to Xbox, because I think that's the thing that matters the most. And if people want to play the campaigns or the story missions, whatever they do, release that stuff, PC and Xbox is where you get that, but we'll keep the multiplayer everywhere. Now, I know that will drop a nuclear bomb off. And everybody will be like, well, why do I need an Xbox? And I was like, well, you really have.
They're already asking that.
You're already asking that. So I'm like, so at a certain point, it's like, just go ahead and do everything. So I think that will be the last thing that will happen when it comes to Halo. But I wouldn't be surprised if they made a move with the multiplayer, because they separated away. You won't have people complaining about Halo being in two different parts, because they already done that. So I can see that being a way that they can go about it. And then especially with all of their, if you think about all of their big multiplayer titles, and we do consider Call of Duty one of their big multiplayer titles because it's under them now. I can see all that stuff really living and doing very well under PlayStation, because that's just where where most of the gamers are at this point. They may not be the ones that love the games the most, but that's where the numbers are, unfortunately.
Your Jumbotron is broke, Forte.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
I don't have loop turned on, that's why.
I will say this. Just kind of remind you guys about when these conversations first started. And I said that if any games go, it's bad.
It's bad if any game goes.
If it's just one game went, that's a problem. It's no different than all games going, because people would just assume we getting all games anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So you put Sea of Thieves over there, you'll be getting all the games over here on PlayStation. Is it the truth? It could not be the truth. Could have been just they tested it with one game. But the truth doesn't matter when there's a narrative out there and they can't control that narrative. It's already done. It's the ship, that ship has sailed. And so I say all that to say, because the ship has already sailed, and you might as well just, don't be lukewarm. Don't be half stepping.
Emergency.
Don't be walking on eggshells. Don't be pussyfooting, as they say. Just go all in. So go ahead and put Halo multiplayer over there. Why not? You imagine, think about all the PlayStation only players that have never played Halo. Think about all those guys over there that be just, I just want to see Halo on a PlayStation. I just want to play against Xbox guys and destroy Xbox guys in a game they've been playing for decades and I just played. Think about that mentality, right?
Right.
You would get a massive jump. And what if they actually like it?
Yeah.
So you might as well just go ahead and do it. You've already damaged the brand. You can't put this genie back in the bottle. The Xbox hardware is going to have a tough time as time goes on, as the erosion continues on, getting third-party games on the platform. Because what do they say to third-party developers when they ask, well, we hear you're skipping the Xbox. Why is that? Well, even you don't put your games exclusively over there. So if you got to take your games and put your games on your competition to make sales, what does that say about your platform? To me, that tells me I'm not going to sell on your platform, so I'm just not going to bother.
You know what the biggest thing that what you just said, that actually, and I don't think a lot of people think about it like this. I just think that you kind of seen the death of third party and second party exclusives on Xbox. Because like you just said, why would Xbox flip the bill to have now granted, we don't know what their long-term exclusivity deals are. Like, they probably have some that are kind of slated out for a couple of years. So this comment might age like stale milk over the course of a couple of years because people don't come back and pay attention and listen to what people are saying.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think going forward, this is kind of the end of third party and second party deals with Xbox putting games only on Xbox and skipping other platforms like PlayStation, Nintendo, and PC, because they're not even doing that with their own games. They're putting their own games on other platforms, like you just said. So how could they convince a publisher or a developer to not put their games somewhere else too and put them exclusively on the Xbox? So it's real interesting to see when that kicks in, because like I said just a second ago, there are probably some deals that are in place for Xbox to have exclusive games from some publisher or developer that we don't know yet. But
it ain't Sony. Sony ain't putting no games over there.
Exactly. Sony, yeah, we know it ain't Sony. So
you will never see Mario or Zelda
or
legally on any other hardware than Nintendo hardware. That is the only place you will find those games, because they value their brand in a way that Microsoft Gaming does not, and that's always been the case. When it comes to those brands, I don't think that's ever going to change for them. I just think that now that we've crossed this bridge and we've already got where they are now putting, Hi-Fi Rush was very well regarded critically, right?
Mm-hmm.
It didn't sell great, but critically, a lot of people enjoyed it, thought it was a great game, a fantastic, new IP, thought Chai could be a very, cool new mascot for Xbox in the future. Okay, now that's on Nintendo Switch. Now that's on PlayStation.
Right.
I think, I can't remember if I said this here, if I said this on Lucas podcast that we were on, but something that I find problematic with the way Xbox gaming is making these decisions is that when it comes to, I mean, we're talking about Gear 6. And my stance on Gears is that I get it completely when we talk about how Gears needs to evolve in some ways in order to stay relevant, right? And you have to find a balance between satisfying the hardcore Gears player base that just wants to wall bounce, roadie run, wall bounce, shotgun people in multiplayer. They want the same kind of Gears experience in campaign. They don't want any of that to change. That's what they grew up with. That's what they love. But they also are not your target demographic anymore, because as years goes on, you keep making that kind of Gears game, you're going to keep selling less and less and less as that player base dwindles and starts to diminish over time. You have to evolve in ways, bring in new innovative things. It doesn't have to be elements of other games that are popular, but you got to come up with things that are new, that entice newer gamers, younger gamers. And this is where Gears and Halo are, because they are games that were the bee's knees. They were the ish when they came out in the early 2000s and late 2000s. Now they're not that anymore. And the same age range that used to love those games is now loving Fortnite. So what do? This is a problem because Xbox haven't cultivated new IPs to take the place of Halo and Gears. See, this wouldn't be an issue if you weren't innovating off of that. So you could go the Nintendo route, take the same IP, but innovate it, make it more current than what it was before, and keep it going. They've tried that, and it hasn't quite worked yet. Or you could create new IP that take that mantle that is more, have a game design that's more conducive to what people, younger generations like, with bigger demographics like today. And then you can keep Gears and Halo being the same kind of games they are, because the pressure isn't on them to be like attractive to gamers who've never cared about that kind of gameplay. That's old to them. But let it be old to the old people, and you come up with new IP that speaks to newer generations, but you can't cultivate that on your platform when all your new IP goes everywhere.
Right.
I mean, if it's great and this does well, then it's going to be, and it's on everything. It's going to do well. You're going to make money, but what does that do for the Xbox hardware? Nothing. And this is the difference between Microsoft Gaming and Sony Interactive Entertainment and Nintendo. Because those two guys will take those games and let you know only on PlayStation, only on the Nintendo Switch or Nintendo Switch 2. Microsoft isn't in that kind of business no more. And so I don't see them. They've never been a cultivator of IP. Halo, they acquired Bungie before Halo came out. Gears, it was after Gears 3, after Gears Judgment, actually, where they bought the IP. Forza, second party game for about a decade before they brought Turn 10. Well, they already had Turn 10 in the house, but they brought in Playground Games. We can't think of any other IP that they've started that they cultivated and grew. Everything else has been what they've acquired from other publishers and developers that they have acquired over the years. You know, like Quantum Break never got a sequel.
Mm-hmm.
Sunset Overdrive never got a sequel. Quality games that just didn't sell well. But, you know, there's an opportunity from there to still try to make it, you know, like you have a good foundation. Let's grow off of that. I think Uncharted 1 is garbage. I think that game sucks. I can't stand. I can't even replay Uncharted 1.
Oh, it's pretty bad, bro.
But that was a foundation that launched into the best Uncharted game, Uncharted 2. You can't get the Uncharted 2 without actually taking the risk of trying again with something that was just kind of mediocre. Or, hey, maybe it just didn't sell that great. Right. But it had potential. You just got to knock, you know, you got to smooth the edges off a little bit. I don't know. Take the mold off the bread a little bit. It's still good to eat. But it's just, they don't do that. And that's what concerns me about the entire platform, period. Because what if a Valve does great? What if it's a 90 plus Metacritic game that sells double wood?
Double wood.
Are we getting in a Valve too? I don't think anybody can definitively say yes or no.
That's true.
So that's my biggest concern with all that. But I know we kind of went off topic a little bit. More games are coming to PlayStation. That's what we know. That's what more games are coming to PlayStation. What games? Definitively, we don't know, but we just know they coming. Okay. So, Anything else you want to say, man, before we get up out of here?
No, man. It's It's gonna be fun. See, I mean, it's a lot of different ways that this could go, man. So I'm truly excited to see um what can happen from this. I hope it works out for Microsoft because uh we are losing. I feel like we are losing something precious when it comes to competition in a hardware space, but I also don't want Xbox or Microsoft to feel like they're going to be fighting a fight that they know they can't win because I feel like PlayStation has done a really good job of basically just catering to the fan base of a lot of consumers when it comes to casual gamers and stuff. Um,
Yeah. But
and,
but but
and
th-
it's
what that
hard to
has led them to is having the top 10 concurrent games of last year on their platform not be
exactly
a single one of their own games.
not exactly and
And so
that
that
yep
that's they're trying to address that now too, which
yes
we'll see whether that works out or not.
yeah and that's the thing. So Xbox sees an opportunity to fill in the void that PlayStation is not doing on their own platform. And if you look at just this report, 7 titles, 28% of all sales in the top 25 is from Microsoft, and Sony's at 20%. So
Mhm.
if Microsoft can do anything about it, they'll make that number bigger. Because the one thing that people don't realize, and this isn't just people feel like everybody's always talking about downing Microsoft for making the decision, but if Microsoft could get to a point, or Xbox to get to a point where they have so much market share when it comes to the amount of games they're selling on PlayStation, it could also trigger a belief in the other services that Microsoft has when it comes to Game Pass. Because if people see that they can, hey, I'm already buying all these Xbox games, why don't I just get the subscription service and then I just have access to them and not even have to buy them anymore? So that is
But
another,
but
that's
then
the next
like
step. Go ahead.
not to just make it again about the actual Xbox hardware,
Mm-hmm. PC.
but you have so many different methods of accessing Game Pass that that again, like someone asked that question, well, I could just get Game Pass and like these games that I bought. Say I bought 3 games that are in Game Pass that are Xbox first party games on PlayStation. Now, instead of buying those games on PlayStation in the future, I could get those games through Game Pass. You're now talking about someone deciding to come off their platform, off their preferred platform to do so. Typically, when someone decides to do that, they're a bit more lenient in how they play those games.
Yeah, exactly.
You can subscribe to that in GeForce Now and play those games with a 4080 in the cloud or through xCloud through your browser.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different ways to do that now. That still doesn't really solve the problem with the hardware,
No,
which is a
yeah.
problem
Well,
because
the hardware is going to stay a problem until because Microsoft made it a problem by yeah we're not, that's a whole nother topic right there, but it's a whole nother topic. But no, you're right.
right.
Well, no, but yeah, that's a great show, man, as always.
Yeah, absolutely. Forte, let everyone know where they can find you over the next week and what you got going on and all that good stuff.
Play Call of Duty. Not having to play PlayStation $10 a month anymore with the homie Slow Mo and Taz whenever they want to play. We could definitely do that. And then jumping back into some more Battlefield, some other games. Looking forward to Stellar Blade. Well, I was looking forward to Stellar Blade until I saw some things, but I'm still kind of indifferent to it right now. So I need to see reviews on that before I make a final decision. But outside of that, just enjoying the games that we're playing and looking forward to my daughter's first track meet next week on Wednesday. So trying to see how she does on that and being a parent. It's awesome. But for myself, Gaming Forte, YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live, PlayStation, and Make sure you sub to this channel for DPS because, like Slomo said earlier, once we hit 500 over here, we're going to transition everything to this channel. And this will be the definitive way to check out DPS podcast. But until we get to that point, next week it will be on my channel. They will do, once again, last topic over here. And we're going to have fun with it. So appreciate you guys. Enjoy the games that you're playing. And we will see you guys next week. And I'll get my channel members while you're doing yours.
Couple things I want to tell people, go watch Shogun. I think it runs on FX, but you can also find it on Hulu. Shogun is freaking awesome, and that really last episode had me in the fetal position. It was rough. It was rough. So Shogun is amazing. Go watch Shogun. You can find me on this channel as well as my own channel. I'm going to do a live stream of No Rest for the Wicked on my channel. I got a free code for that. A shout out to Moon Studios for providing that. So I'm gonna play that probably tomorrow. And then on this channel, I think I will be I'll be playing something. I'll figure it out. I've also been doing some like live streaming a little bit on Twitch just to kind of give some love to everybody that follows me on there. I forgot to say this. I've been playing the crap out of Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Yes, you have.
And so I've been probably going to play some more of that tomorrow. But no, that's what I got going on. And if anything pops up with the First Descendant, I might do a update video on that. When Nexon drops it, I do think that we'll get a release date from them really soon because they said it was supposed to come out this summer. So it'll probably be somewhere in there. So that we'll get that. But are you ready?
I am. Shout out to channel members, and like I said, once again, this isn't required, but it's definitely appreciated. So shout out to MASH, FTW, Brat, Basic Radio Arcade Podcast, Texas, Corey Hale, your boy Roy, Donnell Brown, Ramon Terrell, Hargy Shanice, Slow-Mo Backslap, DJ Oris, and that guy Smitty. Really appreciate you guys, and thanks for the continued support.
All right, and on my side of things, we got Leon Warfield, Dwayne Prestige, Shadow the Ghost, Brian East, Basic Casual Gamer, FTW, K Asante, Legendary Yobi, Neil S. Stardust Acero, Texas, your boy Roy, Corey Hill, Donnell Brown, J387, Enrique, Hargi Shani, Ramon Terrell, Homie One Kenobi, Gaming Forte, and that guy Smitty. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. I wanted to get out of here at 11 because I'm dead tired, but 20 minutes after ain't that bad. But appreciate all the support. Appreciate the gifted subs from Erodimus. Appreciate that. Appreciate everyone who has subbed to the DPS channel tonight. Thank you for that. And I even appreciate the people who unsubbed from my from my personal channel for whatever reason. It is what it is. People hate a difference of opinion. So I'm not mad at it because I'm used to it at this point. But we're gonna get up out of here. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night, as I said, and play some games. Peace.
Peace.
You end it?
I am ending it now.